So we need transparency as the first step to reinvigorating legitimacy in this culture. And I wholeheartedly support what they're doing. And God knows, you could not have a better person than Elon doing it. I have enormous faith in both of them to figure out what's working. And Palantir exists to serve this nation. Software, especially software that's productized, is enormously efficient. The underlying economics of software is both sides get more. I build a product no one else can build. I sell it to you at a fraction of the cost of building it. I'm happy because I can sell that product everywhere. You're happy because you could never build that. And honestly, if you had $1 billion, you couldn't build it. Efficiency will not only make everything cheaper. Transparency will not only be cheaper, it will be, the output will be better. And again, the primary basis of the US economy right now is tech. The primary lesson of tech is you get the right people and you spend less and you get massive output. And so like all these things that are likely to happen by looking at transparency they're going to lead to increases in transparency. And by the way, increases in lethality. Palantir is very pro-DOGE. I'm pro-DOGE. I believe it's going to be great for America and I'm supportive of it. And, read into that what you will.
Right.
America's going to become more lethal, more economically strong, and we're participating in that and we're thrilled. And two CEOs that went to Israel who run publicly traded companies are Elon and I, which, by the way, makes whatever you think of Elon, calling him a Nazi, especially since it seems to be highly correlated to having been supportive of essentially the Hamas wing of the terrorist movement in some way. It's not causation, but is like completely absurd and like a complete rewrite of history.
You were seated next to Elon Musk. A lot has been made about that. And Palantir's warfare system uses this meta constellation platform, which basically tasks hundreds and hundreds of satellites to get their imagery and then feed that down to the battlefield. I'd just like to know, are you still using Starlink? I know you have before. That's Elon Musk's SpaceX satellite constellation. And I ask that because he's kind of fanboyed over, Vladimir Putin. He said some very, very sort of lovely things about that autocrat. It's a little disturbing, especially considering Putin has been somebody, again, free speech. I get Elon can talk about that, but you're still using the Starlink satellites?
If you go to a surgeon, you don't agree with them and they're the best surgeon, you still go to them. And look, I know Elon. I like him. I think he's a super important entrepreneur. We don't have to agree on everything. His products work. I am in the business of delivering. Will you stop using Palantir because CARP is going to support Ukraine? I will use the best products available on the market to help our allies and hurt our adversaries. And for me, if you're supplying the product, I will use it. And you do not have to agree with me on as long as the technology is reliable on the battlefield.
Okay.
And I'm very happy to fight you intellectually over a cup of coffee, a beer, or a run.
Elon Musk working with the DOGE team in Washington to try to get at some of the misspending that's been going on over the years.
Fraud wages.
And I think there's a lot of people who are super supportive of that. At the same time, you're hearing about resignations and all sorts of other things of folks who are questioning the access that they're getting to data. You are somebody who lives within data. You care safety and security of data. Do you think we should have those concerns? And is there a way to do whatever's being done right now so that you can take the country and those who are questioning all of this with you?
Well,
you will.
What I don't like about what's going on is I just view this as, well, let's watch the Democratic Party commit suicide. And like, I've been a Democrat most of my life. I kind of view myself as outside it, but I don't like watching the Democrats just commit suicide. Given the fraud, waste, and abuse we know is there, 90% of the country is like, get rid of that fraud, waste, and abuse. And I just view this as yet another example of the progressive left boxing themselves into a suicide dance. What the progressive left should be doing is saying, okay, Elon, you're clearly the most qualified person in the world to do something like this. We want to dialogue with you about how you're doing and what are you doing. I don't believe that's actually what happened. And again, I like Elon. I think he's obviously the most important builder in the world. And I just think, if you want to say my former side, I don't believe that they're actually engaging. I think it's like another dance where I'm supposed to say, of course, like whatever. It's like there's this one issue where I might, and then you get boxed into you cannot solve the problem. And then I would say, what is the biggest problem in this society? biggest problem in this society from my perspective is legitimacy of our institutions. Why aren't they legitimate? They're not legitimate because, okay, do any of you really believe that 99% of your taxpayer dollars are being spent? But last and not least, and probably arguably most importantly, there's two revolutions happening. One is transparency and one is AI. Okay, so why is it that we do not know where every penny of our money goes? Like, how do you explain that to people? And by the way, slightly more technically, what large language models do is they mean you can go into the contracts and see exactly what happened. So in the past, we couldn't do this. Now we can. The right response is, we want this to happen. We want to happen. We want to be involved in the dialogue. The real response is, it feels like the people criticizing Elon don't want it to happen. And this is going to destroy those people.
There's an academic point of tension here, if I may. Elon Musk is a customer of yours, and Tesla, their theory or practice is based on real world data gathered through vision. Does the synthetic data underpinning of Cosmos kind of contradict that?
It doesn't replace, it augments. And so you should collect as much world data as you can. Of course, collecting world data is very expensive. And Elon has a great advantage because his AI factory for his cars is fantastic, has a lot of Nvidia gear in it. His AV algorithms is incredible. It's the best in the world. And he has a very large fleet of cars on the road that allows him to collect a lot of data. So I think he has just a phenomenal position, and he's been working on this for a long time. And so he's going to be in a great position to take advantage of it.
May I ask you, at this juncture, he's clearly influential in this upcoming administration, but he also positions Tesla as a leading AI and robotics company. How does that bode for Nvidia, Elon Musk's influence of President-elect Trump, and also the upcoming administration's kind of attitude towards AI?
I know Elon's attitude towards AI, and he's very optimistic about its future. Obviously, he's working on some of the most important AI areas. XAI is working on foundation, cognitive intelligence AI. His Tesla is working on autonomous vehicles, and Optimus is for humanoid robotics. These three areas of AI are the three most important areas of AI, and so I think he's working on exactly the right things. From the moment of concept to building a massive factory, liquid cooled, permitted in the short time that was done, that is like superhuman. Right. And as far as I know, there's only one person in the world who could do that. Elon is singular in this understanding of engineering and construction and large systems and marshaling resources. It's unbelievable. And of course, then his engineering team is extraordinary. From the moment we decided to go, the planning with our engineering team, our networking team, our infrastructure computing team, the software team, all of the preparation in advance, all of the infrastructure, all of the logistics, and the amount of technology and equipment that came in on that day to training, 19 days. 19 days is incredible. This is a couple of weeks. Yeah. Right. And the amount of technology, if you were to see it, is unbelievable. Right. Yeah, so I think what Elon and the X team did, what they achieved is singular. Never been done before. Just to put in perspective, 100,000 GPUs, that's, easily the fastest supercomputer on the planet. That's one cluster. A supercomputer that you would build would take normally 3 years to plan.
Right.
And then they deliver the equipment, and it takes 1 year to get it all working.
Yes.
We're talking about 19 days.
And I'm glad you talked about the auto business and what you're seeing there. You mentioned that automotive is now the largest enterprise vertical within data center. You talked about the Tesla business, but what is that all about? Is it self-driving among other automakers too? Are there other functions that automakers are using within data center? Help us understand that a little bit better.
Well, Tesla is far ahead in self-driving cars, but every single car someday will have to have autonomous capability. It's safer, it's more convenient, it's more fun to drive. And in order to do that, it is now very well known, very well understood that learning from video directly is the most effective way to train these models. We used to train based on images that are labeled. We would say, this is a car, this is a car, this is a sign, this is a road, and we would label that manually. It's incredible. And now we just put video right into the car and let the car figure it out by itself. And this technology is very similar to the technology of large language models, but it requires just an enormous training facility. And the reason for that is because the data rate of video, the amount of data of video is so high. Well, The same approach that's used for learning physics, the physical world, from videos that is used for self-driving cars is essentially the same AI technology used for grounding large language models to understand the world of physics. So technologies that are like Sora, which is just incredible, the ability to generate video that makes sense, that are conditioned by human prompt, that needs to learn from video. And so the next generation of AIs need to be grounded in physical AI, needs to understand the physical world. And the best way to teach these AIs how the physical world behaves is through video, just watching tons and tons and tons of video. And so the combination of this multimodality training capability is going to really require a lot of computing demand in the years to come.
Big deal that is being made in AI today between Elon Musk, XAI, TWG Group, which is Thomas Tull, Mark Walter Investment Group, and also the aforementioned Palantir. Why do this deal with TWG, XAI? What does Palantir get out of this?
The mission of Palantir is to give an unfair advantage to our friends. And if you look at what regional banks have been saddled with regulatory hurdles and deep technical issues, almost all of which can be solved by the combination of his insights into banking, which he's one of the most successful people in the world at, our tech infrastructure and large language models and compute. And that combination will bring the unit economics of a company like Palantir to regional banks and allow them to do what big banks are claiming to do and grow their revenue at much lower costs.
He's very nice, Thomas. I mean, very complimentary, but here's the sad reality of AI. AI is really good at taking money. It's not been very good at making money.
I think that's exactly right. You get pitched things like that all the time. And in our case, we use our platform on all our systems, and it's made an impact, a material impact. And everything we talk about is, if you made $1 before, are you now making more than $1, or are you just talking about it? So that's what
Most people are just talking about.
Okay, but this is the thing. You've got to judge a company or an institution by the fruits they bear. And the thing at Palantir is we're quite good at making money. We make money by being downstream of value creation. And we partnered together in his bank. So you can already see the value creation. And we see this across every industry where the unit economics change, which is why Palantir is growing 71%.